Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's time. Throwing that grenade. That's right. Throwing year 2021. Just like that grenade. Get it out of here. Because it's year 2022. Got to get used to saying that, Rick. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. As I just, again, wanted to thank you for giving me this opportunity because I already did this episode on my podcast and I screwed the pooch. One of the worst podcasts I've done because I was so excited about it. Verbal diarrhea. And I couldn't even find good words. I wanted to describe each movie precisely and give you insight as to why I thought it was the best of the worst. It was just like, to me, it was almost an hour of me going blah, 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 blah. I'm so happy you gave me this platform so I can hopefully do a better job.
Yeah. Well, I still want to, I had to know what Kung Fu Santa had to say about these movies. Everybody's here. That's why everybody's here watching right now, because they've already heard Samurai. Like, I'm exhausted, Rick. Like, our best and the worst video we did Saturday was like 3.5 hours. And I was like so much energy and ranting on the stuff I hated so much. I'm like spent. So I probably won't rant as bad tonight. But
those are the best movies of the year, not just the best action, right?
It's just movies, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. This is action. This is specifically action.
Right.
And I can see in your intro, you have a bunch I don't have.
Okay, all right.
List that I don't have either on best or worst.
Copy that. And I think everybody watching right now, I'm calling it right now. Some of Samurai's favorites is probably going to be on Rick's worst, but it's all good. It's all good. We're here to have fun.
Hopefully, my absolute favorites, my top three, I think we'll both agree on the top.
Okay, cool. So those of you that are just watching, chiming in right now, we got Kung Fu Santa in the house. That's right. Get the books, get the movies, the DVDs, Films of Fury, all that good stuff. Awesome content for sure.
Don't forget, for next year's stocking stuffer, the Santa Confidential. Well, I should have sold that harder during the Christmas season, but I'll start selling it now for
getting an early word in on it. Get it going now.
Send me an email, asksantaanything@gmail.com, and
there it is.
Get your autographed copy with your signed bookcase by the great Chris Hager, the Horrible Brown.
There you go. All right, let's see who's here from the Movie Dojo Army hanging out with us tonight. We got Jake Hall in the house. Lone Wolf Ronan, he says, what's up, Samurai and Kung Fu Santa? Bring the ruckus. We're going to bring the ruckus. That's right. Who else we got here tonight? We got Will. What's going on? Happy New Year, Kung Fu Santa, Will says. There we go. And Samuel Stokes in the house. Severio, the sexy sumo. He says, hail to the kings, baby. And we have Heather. Oh, yeah. All right.
And by the way, guys, start segueing from, because Happy New Year is over. Get ready for a Kong Hei Fat Choi, baby. Kong Hei Fat Choi, Year of the Tiger, February 1st.
There you go. Are you going to teach me Tiger style?
Panther. That was Panther. I want Tiger. There we go.
All right. You're going to teach me Tiger style maybe this year, Rick.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. Cool. I'd like to know that. Yeah. Lady Danish says here, always love hearing from Rick. That's right.
Oh, I know Lady Danish. Thank you.
Oh, James here says, He watched all the Rurouni Kenshin movies last week, and my God, that has to be some of the best favorite film series of all time. Look at that. All right, we're getting it started.
Samurai sword action, awesome.
Yeah. You got ready clips here. What's going on, brother? It says, Hail Sifu Santa.
Stand up, stand up.
Stand
Sit
down.
down, sit down. No
All
standing
right,
over.
we're gonna jump right into it. Samurai Guy's gonna go first for some of my picks for the best action films of last year, and then we'll go to Rick's list because everyone's here to see Rick's list. But I will chime in on some of the films I did enjoy this year for sure. All right, so first up, they're kind of together. They're two different movies, but I'm putting them on here for fun because it was very entertaining. You have two sci-fi action movies that were made for the midnight crowd, and get the fellas together, beer, pizza, and it's just a popcorn blast fest. And we have Skylines here, which is the third in the series. This is just like, man, if you enjoy Aliens, if Daniel Bernhardt has a really badass fight scene that came out of nowhere in this, which was amazing. We have a female lead that's very convincing and not a Mary Sue, is what people call that, use that word a lot. She's badass, and it's just a fun popcorn flick. I love both of these films, and we also have another sci-fi alien invasion type movie. We have here Occupation. That's right, the sequel, Rainfall. And this is it's another just fun movie. And I had the director Luke Spark on here and Liam O'Donnell. And this is something very new to the country of Australia. They don't have sci-fi movies like this. So this is brand new for them. So we're rooting for them, so that way they can keep making fun sci-fi flicks, and we even have alien on alien combat. That's right. The alien comes down with the swords, fights the other aliens, and we all have fun there. But yeah, this is
I thought you were going to say something else.
oh,
Alien on alien action. What?
that's in
What?
the director's cut there.
There we go.
But shout out to Liam O'Donnell giving us that popcorn fun. This is the third in this trilogy. I recommend you watch all three films in a row. It's a lot more enjoyable that way. And this is the second film in the new trilogy right here. So there is a third Occupation movie coming. So those are a lot of fun. All right. Shout out to my man Fansu here. If you guys are tired of your action heroes, looking like handsome lead singers from a sexy boy band. Are you tired of your action heroes looking that way? Are you tired of your action heroes looking like they might get in a fight with Pee Wee Herman and they may get their ass kicked, but they're the leads of the movies? Are you tired of that? Well, hey, Last Man Down's got you covered, man. Beef, buff, burly badasses, tons of grease. You got to have the grease now. You got to have the grease. Huge body count. Funny one-liners. I really enjoyed this. It's one of my favorite action flicks of the year. Had a lot of fun with Last Man Down. So yeah, got to throw that in there. And the director Bao Tran, I really had a lot of fun with the Paper Tigers. This movie for me felt like a warm hug, because we don't really get a lot of kung fu comedies anymore, especially over here. We don't in the States. And he really had to. He got a pose. I don't know if you saw our interview, Rick.
Oh
But
yeah.
it was
Oh,
that was the story of just all the hassle just to get this movie made, and how the studios wanted Nicolas Cage or
yeah.
somebody else. They didn't. It was just like, okay, just ridiculousness. And he tried so hard to get his little independent film out there, and it was a success. So
Yeah.
shout out to Bao Tran. There
Yep.
was some hilarious moments in the movie, some fun martial arts for sure. All right, next up, The Harder They Fall. I enjoyed it. I'm more used to Once Upon a Time in the West, spaghetti westerns, Outlaw Josie Wales, and
This
this year's
was a
old.
spaghetti. This was a soul food western.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was.
You could see all the spaghetti western influences in
Yes.
virtually every scene.
Yeah, yes, and the soundtrack too. Sometimes
Yeah.
the score, yeah. But yeah, this highly stylized western I had a lot of fun with. Fun
Great.
characters, just a really cool badass girl on girl fight. They were the kick. Their fight was the best fight in the movie.
Yeah, but it pissed me off.
Oh,
The ending pissed me off. That's
oh,
just let me give you a little taste of
sure.
what you're going
Okay,
to get when I go.
okay, okay, okay.
I watch it from my anger because none of these movies that you mentioned are on my list. None
Yeah,
of them.
I assume. Yeah, yeah.
But I enjoyed all of them. But just I didn't think they were elevated. And the thing that
Gotcha.
took the harder they fall on my list was that at the end of the fight, they stopped fighting the way they had been fighting, and she spoiler alert, let the
Yeah,
villain live. Didn't even check the status of the villain.
that's a good
They
point.
did that for a cinematic reason so they could have that fade out. And I went,
Right.
ah,
Sequel bait.
piss
Yeah.
me off.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's actually
Yeah.
a good point.
So
That's
that
especially
too long. But
when you're
it
trying
is a
to
great
kill the
movie.
person. It's like, why would you let the person go after you tried to kill the person?
You hit
No, it's
them,
a
they
good
fall
point.
down, and you walk away. And it's like, oh,
Right.
really?
I know. No, that's a good point. But yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed the harder
It's a
they
great
fall
movie.
for sure.
I loved it
Next
until
up is a Scott Adkins one shot. Very thin on plot, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can follow the plot. That's all that matters. But man, this is one of those rewatch movies. Like every time you watch it, you're gonna learn something new in terms of man, how did they pull that shot off? There's the whole entire movie is one shot, just like the title, and filmed the best to their ability in one take, and just an action packed, knife fighting, explosions, ground fighting, tactical shooting sequences. Like, how in the hell did they pull this off? So yeah, really enjoyed One
Pat,
Shot.
where did you see it?
I rented it on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't been able to find it yet. I'll find it. I'll get it.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it was very,
In
very
fact,
well done.
just now I heard great things about it.
Copy that. All right, next up is Kate. I'm sorry, Rick. I
Don't
enjoyed Kate.
apologize. Don't apologize.
Okay, okay. I don't know. Is there something about it? Well, I was concerned at first with the girl. I was like, "Oh God," because you guys know Samurai Guy with annoying little kids. Sometimes that will break the movie. But it lessened. Her annoyance lessened as the movie went along. But yeah, I mean, Elizabeth really trained hard for the film,
Yep.
and there's some really well done action sequences in here, and there. You may say this style over substance. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't mind it. It's violent
Well,
and it's fun. So
yeah, considering the plot line, it had to be
yeah,
style over substance
right.
because this is one, as you know, of the assassination movies this year. What I
Yeah,
call the genre is assassination, where
right,
virtually everybody in the world is a killer.
right.
And this is one of, I think, 4 or 5 this year, which is female driven assassination movies.
And I
And
did a
it's
poll
not,
just for you.
yeah, go
I
ahead.
did a poll just for you. I'm gonna post it right now. So I said out of the 4 female driven assassin movies.
I have
Yeah.
five.
Oh, we had 5. Oh, I missed one.
Five.
Okay. Well, I couldn't do
Yeah,
5 for the poll anyway. But
yeah.
here, uh, just as for you, Rick, I'm sure you're gonna be very happy about this. But Black Widow, one hold on, let me move the
Oh,
banner
then
here.
that's 6. With Black Widow, that's 6 now. Okay.
Oh, okay. So
6 movies.
Black Widow won the voting poll. I asked everybody what was your favorite female assassin flick of the year,
No
and Black
question.
Widow won there.
No question.
But what was the other 2?
There's a little movie which is surprisingly good and one of my favorites. It's called Ava, AVA. It's the
Oh,
reason that movies like Gunpowder Milkshake and Protege do not have their original titles because all these movies that were coming out all had a female first name as their title because
right, right, right.
Protege was originally called Anna, but then
Oh,
Ava came out. And
okay,
Ava is surprisingly good and it's surprisingly realistic in its fights and its approach.
okay.
And so look at that. I believe it's on Netflix or it's on Amazon Prime, but it's very good. Protege, but also Jolt.
Right. Oh,
And
oh,
yeah, Jolt.
okay.
And I'm surprised that you didn't mention Gunpowder Milkshake.
What, on the poll or on my
Is that
favorite?
on the poll? Gunpowder Milkshake?
It's on there.
Okay, so
I got
Ava,
Kate,
Protege,
Protege.
Jolt, Kate, Gunpowder Milkshake, Black Widow, all female driven. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All female driven assassination movies,
Okay. Okay.
and I like I liked them all. I didn't
Right.
love any of them,
Right.
but
Right.
Ava was surprising because all the rest of them did the badass stuff.
Mm,
Ava, they tried to, because of the stars, they tried to make it more realistic and more recognizable human behavior. And
mm.
also the fights. The fights were realistic. The fights weren't exaggerated.
Right.
So
Right.
it's worth
Right.
taking a look if you can find it. But anyway,
Okay.
go back to
Okay.
your list. Don't
All
mind me.
right. Copy that. All right. Uh, I'm going to talk about Jolt a little later, but yeah. All right. Next up, next up, next up is a movie I didn't even know came out this year. I was literally browsing Netflix, and this was literally at the last minute before I even did our list. Over the weekend, I watched this, and it's an action flick from Spain
Oh
called
yeah,
Extreme.
yeah. This is cool.
Man, this you guys got to watch this on Netflix right now. Watch Extreme. You got gunfights, sword fights, just brutal martial arts. Like I don't think I've ever seen a movie. Rick, you might have to help me out here, but they're fighting in the car, and he
Yep.
takes off the top of the car seat off and stabs people in the neck with it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that. But yeah, Extreme was really satisfying. That's just amazing.
Now
Like I
this is
really
that what? Where's that from? Because this is the first action movie from
Spain.
this country, Spain.
No way, really?
One of the first, and it's also driven by that guy in the middle with the sword. He was a longtime stuntman, and there was another French film that was similar where a stuntman drove the film, and he
Oh,
this was his labor of love. But he
oh,
stars in it, he choreographed it, and as you found out, it's a sweet little movie.
yeah. I just it was a great surprise. Like at the last minute, I was like, "What's Extreme?" And I was like, "Well, that's going on the list."
It's
Yeah,
good.
if you guys haven't seen Extreme, check it out. It's badass. And of
Oh
course,
yeah, and also after you do
oops,
that, also on
spoilers. But yeah,
Netflix,
go ahead.
go to The Lost Bullet. That's the French
Mm,
one. Another
the law.
stuntman is the lead. And
Okay,
again, a sweet little movie, all done realistic. No, they didn't have the money for special effects. The same thing with Extreme.
okay.
Great double feature, Extreme and The Lost Bullet.
All right, cool. I'm putting that in the queue for sure. For sure.
One from Spain, one from France.
Okay, The Lost Bullet. Sounds cool. Well, I got to check that out for sure. Of course, another little surprise this year. I had a lot of fun with Shang-Chi. I didn't think I was going to like it as much because I wasn't really blown away by the trailer. I was just like, okay, let's see what this might be fun, right?
Remember what Marvel does with its trailers. Keeps it secret. Doesn't want you to be delighted in the theater. That doesn't want you to be delighted during the trailer.
Right. But oh, it was the fight scenes were legit. I love the way they were filmed and edited. I was like, thank God, there's hope. There's
Andy
hope over
Chang
here.
and Brad Allen. Andy Chang and Brad
Yeah,
Allen. The
yeah.
late Brad Allen.
Yeah, the late, rest in peace. But, yeah,
I enjoy.
Shang-Chi was fun.
I enjoy.
Yeah. This one I enjoyed as well. Cop Shop.
Cop
Uh,
Shop's a cool little film.
yeah, another came out of nowhere. I was like, I gotta check this out.
Yep.
Small scale little action thriller, but it was just it was just a lot of fun. It was funny. There was some dark comedy in it, and it was
Assault,
just
Assault on Precinct 1.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. It's a good one, yeah. And it reminded you of why Gerard Butler was great. You
Oh,
know,
he's awesome.
when you give him the right role and let him go to town, he's just like there. He's a superstar. Boom, there you go.
All his
There you
roles are
go.
the right roles. He just
Uh,
takes it and walks with it.
I
That
did
movie,
not.
as you know, there wasn't a lot of action in that movie, but it was buoyed by all these strong performances.
Yeah, yeah. And Frank Grillo, it looks like he had a good year, huh?
I don't know what his problem with that movie was. He went on record saying that there was another cut of this movie where he came out better, and I'm not sure how that was possible because I
And
thought the
Cop
movie,
Shop?
yeah, he
Oh,
had a problem with Cop Shop.
that's weird because he was good in it. That's
Yeah,
bizarre.
it was great. I thought.
Hmm. But speaking of Frank Grillo, really enjoyed
Oh,
Boss Level. I
yep.
mean, and I said over the weekend that this to me this was the most underrated action movie of the year
Oh, it's great. It's
because
on
it
Hulu.
just
It's great.
yeah it just came out of nowhere and like nobody talked about it and just disappeared. And I was just like,
That's my
dude, this
number 9. You finally have a title on my
hey, hey.
sheet
Woo.
too. Yeah, boss level. Joe Carnahan.
Yeah.
Uh, just it's the Groundhog Day of action movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So lots and lots and lots of great action,
Yeah.
and all different types of action,
Hmm.
fists, guns, and swords. Just a great movie.
Yeah. And we get another little Michelle Yeoh bonus.
Yeah,
Michelle
yeah,
Yeoh's all over the place because she's
yeah.
awesome. All right. Yeah, Boss Love was great. I really enjoyed that a lot.
Me too.
The movie I said over the weekend that could have easily been the Rise of Skywalker of the franchise, but salvaged what it could to kind of save the franchise as best as it could. I'll have Rick pronounce the title.
No, Time to Die. So, and I'll give you a little hint. I love this movie because it's on both my best and worst list.
Oh, brilliant.
I double teamed it.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's funny. That's funny. No, that's a good call. Good call. But
There's only one
yeah.
scene in the whole movie that's on the best list. The rest of the movie's on the worst list.
Copy that. I can't wait to hear it. But yeah, just it was a fun, man. It was a little homage, little whole bunch of Easter eggs to the fans, and action
Oh,
was well done. And
it's
yeah, it was
Daniel
the best
Craig.
they could have done.
No, it's not. No, it isn't.
Oh,
Because
okay.
remember, they did Casino Royale, so they could have done better.
It's true.
This is the
That is
best they
true.
could have done with Daniel Craig in control.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah. Next up, we got nobody.
Yeah,
Bob Odenkirk, man. I the guy from Better Call Saul.
that's right.
I never in a million years I thought he would be kick ass and taking names the way he did in this film. And just Christopher Lloyd was hilarious. Like it's just a fun flick.
I
It's
want to see.
definitely
I want to see.
yeah. You think they
And
would?
also remember, this should be on the poster now. It's the movie that gave Bob Odenkirk a heart attack.
Is that what they're saying?
No, that's what happened.
Oh, okay. I
Because
know
he
he.
did
I know he.
all the action himself. He did all the
Right,
action himself.
right,
And
right,
then he went back to the next season of Better Call Saul and had a heart
right.
attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
be careful, people.
Yeah.
Use a stunt person.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah,
Except
great,
unless you're Tom Cruise, then you
just
can't
a
do it.
great movie. Little too John Wickish for me, but it's still on my list.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's there. This I enjoyed a lot. Fun movie, fun action. The Suicide Squad, I enjoyed it. Great popcorn fun. Had that violence that Samurai Guy craves because it's Samurai Guy. But yeah, I had a good time with it, definitely. And it was fun having Richard Norton on here talking about what him and his team did behind the scenes with the fight scenes and stuff like that. It was always great having the legend on here. We got to get him back on here in the future for sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, the Suicide Squad definitely a lot of fun and in my opinion better than the other version. Do
Oh,
you
sure.
ever think we will ever get a David Ayer cut, Rick?
I hope we. I hope so.
Me
But
too.
it all depends on how Warner Brothers feels about him, because they love Zach, so they let Zach. They keep on letting Zach come back. They keep on rebirthing him.
Right.
Every time he squanders his welcome, they give it back to him. Ayer, I'm afraid, is a writer, so he may have a harder slog because the
Mm,
producers at Warner Brothers are famous for eating their own. I mean,
right.
again, ask Martin Campbell, the director of
Right.
Royale, who also did Green Lantern. And I
And the
don't,
protege, yeah.
yeah. Well, not
Yeah.
just the protege, but the way they threw Martin under the bus after the failure of the Green Lantern. That's the
Yeah.
kind of thing Warner's does. And also
Yeah.
throwing Zach under the bus after Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, but
Right.
then keep on giving him another chance. But I hope we do get a cut. I hope we have a cut, because at least Warner's knows that they can make money off of it.
Yeah.
But the only reason they wouldn't do it is if they want to screw David Ayer.
Gotcha.
If they're angry at David Ayer for whatever reason.
They might be. Because I wouldn't be
Would be.
surprised.
They would
Yeah.
be.
But yeah, I'm sure that probably by default has to be better than the the version we got from the original.
That's another reason
Star.
they may not want it, because it may
Mm,
be so superior to what they did to the movie that
right.
it embarrassed them, so they may not allow
Well,
it.
I can ask you now, since you brought up Zack Snyder, are you excited now? Because from what I'm hearing, Flashpoint's gonna destroy the Snyder verse, and that's it. We're starting brand new. So, are you happy about this?
No, I mean, I love great movies. I'm happy with great movies no matter what they are.
Okay.
I love, I like watching, we'll get to Snyder on my list.
Uh-huh.
Um, I love watching him just reveling in his newfound power and his revival. And I mean, he makes movies that I get to watch like this, because I
Yeah.
know what's happening here. It's all him. It's 100% him.
Right. Right. Right.
And I and I'm glad it's on. I'm glad it's on streaming, so I don't have to go to the theater and be trapped there.
Right.
While
That's true.
he just turns the screw. So
Yeah.
I'm yeah.
So
More
you're like, whatever happens, you just want good movies, basically.
That's it. I've gotten
Okay.
to an age now where every movie may be my last. So I just want it to be a great one. That's all. That's
Sounds
all.
good to me. Sounds good to me. Speaking of, next up was what I've been told several times is the most boring action movie of the year, and
Really?
I'm just like, real the most boring
Are you on your
action
worst
flick.
list now?
No, no.
Oh, this is on your best, right?
This is on my best, but
Yeah.
I just wanted
Who's
to tell you
telling
that
you this is boring?
apparently I've been hearing this a lot, and this is my response to that. Yeah. So, movies are subjective. You don't have to like Raging Fire, but boring. I'm just like, wow, that's very
Look,
interesting.
given the situation that Hong Kong's in now and Hong Kong cinema's in now,
Yeah,
we have to cherish every one we get because it may be the last.
that's right. That's
And
right.
this is Donnie, and Donnie's the last kung fu choreographer standing.
Yeah,
And yeah, hey, fast forward through the boring parts
right.
and get to the action scenes, and you will be amply rewarded.
Yeah, me and Kyle, we both watched it, and it scratched the itch for us. We both really enjoyed it. All we wanted was as a badass, entertaining cop thriller with that little bit of '90s flavor. That's all we want, and that's what we got. Like, so
And
that's
also,
like,
yeah, I'm not going to argue with your badass
right.
epithet in this case because this is a badass movie,
Yeah, yeah,
no question.
awesome. But yeah, Raging Fire had to go on there.
Yeah,
And next up, of course, did you recommend this to me, Rick? I
I
think
believe
you
I did.
did.
I did.
I think you did. No, this next one. I think you did.
Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're saying.
Okay, okay.
I'm guessing what it is.
The Swordsman.
Yeah, that's the one that's one of the two I recommended to you.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Man, this was so good.
Awesome.
Really enjoyed this one. I mean,
Yeah.
it just again, it makes me take a breath of like, yay. Great martial arts and dramas and thrillers, period piece, if you will, still exist.
Yep.
It's
A
so
true
well done.
It's not a true story, but it takes place in a true era of Korea. And what's amazing about it, among other things, is not only is it choreographed by my favorite martial action choreographer at the moment, who is multiple times on my list, including one of my worst. Um,
Kenji, yeah.
yeah, Kenji Tanagaki.
Mm-hmm.
But it has Korean swordsmanship, Japanese swordsmanship, and Chinese swordsmanship, all in the same. And if you know those, and it's accurate, they're all accurate. So you can learn about, and it takes place in a period of history in Korea where the Chinese and the Japanese were vying for control of Korea. And it's also an homage to the Zatoichi movies.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just an amazing movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the best. I had to put that on my list for sure. And I'll just lump these next two in here since they came out the same year. But yeah, again, thanks to Rick's Rick knew before I even ranted about a certain movie, you guys know exactly what movie I'm talking about. Rick knew I was down in the dumps. Rick was like, "Come here, let Uncle Rick pat you on the back.
Come here, buddy.
Go watch the first action sequence in Rurouni Kenshin, the beginning, and that will perk you up and make you happy." And I was like, "Oh, thank God."
I was like this. I was like, how did they do that? This is
It-
amazing.
yeah, I mean, for those who have not seen, this is the prequel to all four films, and the beginning of the movie, he is tied up, and he has what was it a tanto in his mouth or
No, I
wakizashi?
believe it was a full katana.
Oh my God,
He had a
sword
full
in
katana in his mouth.
in his mouth, and he just destroys a room
Kills
of
everybody.
people. It's amazing. It
So
is
beautifully done.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was such a beautiful movie too.
Yep.
Cinematography was great. But my number one is still my number one of the year from
Mine too.
Saturday's list.
Mine too.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Roni Kenshin, the fourth film in the franchise.
Actually, I lied.
Some of the best sword fights, and just it's phenomenal. Sorry, I had
That's
to
a
play the trailer one more time.
fourth. And by the way, I lied. That's not my number one. That's my number 3. But
Okay.
I put beginning and final together.
Okay,
They're
nice.
basically the same time. So those were both number 3.
That's it for Samurai Guy's best of action list. Let's hear what Kung Fu Santa's got on his
Well, again,
his
I
table.
want to give you the disclaimer. The disclaimer is I watch movies differently than I used to.
Okay.
Now that I've taken, 40 years of martial arts and 20 years of kung fu, I'm again like, I'm no longer like that Chinese author who wrote a book on baseball movies without knowing the rules of baseball. Now I know the rules of martial arts. And I also, being the author of the Dirty Harry novels and a lot of international thrillers as a ghostwriter, I've shot every gun there is to know, at least from a period of time. And also, I started watching movies when I was like 5 years old, which was, almost 50 years ago at this point. So I'm watching them differently. So please forgive me. I mean, you can eat a McDonald's ham. If I eat a McDonald's hamburger now, I'll get sick.
No, I
Literally.
got you. Be honest. Everyone
And
loves your honesty. It's all
so
good.
now when I watch action movies, I'm looking for something different than I would
Okay.
imagine a majority of your
Gotcha.
people and you look for. So
Okay.
that's why I'm deciding. So
All right.
my
Good deal.
list, number 10 best, the 10th best of the year for me, simply for the action, nothing else.
Okay.
And also because I wanted revenge on Black Panther, on the Black Panther's action. Because Black Panther, Panther doesn't fight like a panther, ape guy doesn't fight like an ape.
Right.
So what happens in Godzilla versus Kong? We've got a character who fights like a lizard and a character who fights like an ape. They fight
Nice.
like themselves. And the two major fight scenes in the movie,
Nice.
you can see them. They're not
Yes.
cut to shreds like virtually everything on my worst list. So that's my number 10.
Love it.
Number 9 was Boss Level,
Okay.
which is, again, a movie that deserves to be watched repeatedly because the guy lives the same life and has to keep changing his action. And that's the other thing I look for in an action scene, that the character learns. And the whole plot idea of Boss Level is if he's going to survive, he has to learn. He has to learn what's going on and change his approach. And he does it throughout the entire movie. It's a science fiction concept. The ending's a little soft because they kind of paint themselves into a corner. But the action throughout is top notch.
Yes.
Just awesome stuff. And I'm going to cheat a little with my number 7 because it's basically 2.5 movies, but it's considered a series, and that is Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
Hawkeye was perfect after Eternals for me. Eternals is not on my list. It's a good movie. I believe it's going to get better when I start watching it over and over again.
Right.
But Hawkeye, after Eternals, which was all godlike, Hawkeye was all about a human being, about human beings. Nobody on the show had superpowers. No one. They all had supra powers, and they were all falling apart because of what they had suffered. And the action changed from episode to episode. Also, the subplot about the deaf, of him going deaf and fighting the deaf person who's going to have her own show, Edge. And also the return, spoiler over
Echo, right?
And having the final big blowout between Kingpin and the new Hawkeye be, and not be the original Hawkeye doing that fight. The more I thought about it, the more I watched it, just the better it got. And they brought in a Muay Thai guy for the last 2 episodes.
Oh.
And that specifically for the fight with Kingpin. And again, it's so meaty. There's so much there. It's so warm. It's so emotional. It works. And also, again, the reason that Suicide Squad is not on my list of 10 best or worst, and many other Marvel and Asian films is that it's important. I've gotten tired of movies where the character isn't human anymore. The character is a cartoon character. They're robots. They're digital characters because, like John Wick and others, they take so much abuse that I can no longer treat them like, I can no longer watch the movie with anything than, okay, I'll wait for this to be over. Because I don't care about anybody. They're not human to me. They're just, I might as well be watching a video game. And that's great because video games are very successful and more power to them. But these movies, for a movie which supposedly has human characters, I have to care. And it's the same thing with animation too, although I don't have any animated movies on my list. So Hawkeye, I thought was excellent, and I look forward to watching it more. And again, I felt great. At the end of it, I was going, oh, I like these people. I want to spend more time with them. And also, I want to see them fight some more because the fights changed from episode to episode. People were complaining about the first 2 episodes. They were saying, I couldn't make it out in the first fight. And they said because that was the first fight had a partially hearing person and a deaf person. So they choreographed the fight from that point of view. And you notice that on subsequent viewings. And then in comes Black Widow's sister. And that fight is different. All the fights are different. It's just
the rooftop fight was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And all of them are good if you watch them from a different standpoint. Then I have Nobody. And again, Nobody was John Wickish, but it was elevated because I know Bob Odenkirk added the humor and the humanity to the script. John Wick, again, is a no longer existing human being, but Nobody just was close to being it. And also he got smarter as the movie went on, and he tried not to just punch people or shoot people. He tried to use his imagination and his wit and his brain to make the fight easier for him. I mean, the scene where they're using explosives against each other, he had to get smart to survive that, even though he did. Normally his chest cavity, his sternum would have been in a million pieces, but I forgave it. It's all right. And then the next on my list is not No Time to Die. It's No Time to Die, the Paloma scene. The Paloma cut. Ana de Armas plays Paloma, a CIA trainee stationed in Cuba.
Yeah.
She has one scene, which, if I had to choose one scene from the whole year, that would be it. She was amazing. She killed everybody. She didn't just kill it. She killed everybody around her. And she did it in a gown that was slit down to her navel and slit up to her hip. Amazing filmmaking, amazing choreography. On my podcast, I did not on the best and worst, but on when I was reviewing the movie the first time on my podcast, which was last month or whatever, I gave a big shout out to her 4 stunt people. She had 4 stunt women.
Wow.
To double her. that movie, that scene just took my breath away. And the rest of the movie was like, what? Go back to her. Go back
I
to
know.
her.
I
Why
know.
do I have to watch this guy with his head up his butt? Let me get back to her. So that was just awesome. The next on my list, Raging Fire. And again, it's because I
It's
bowed down.
boring.
He's the last guy standing at this point. And again, the action sequences and specifically the hand-to-hand stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
he choreographs the ground fighting now. He does his mixed martial arts to a
Yeah.
very high level. And so,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I have to worship it because again, it may not be around much. That kind of film may not be around much longer.
Right.
Although Americans are taking up, but Asian-driven Chinese choreography,
Yeah.
very difficult at this point to find. Then Rurouni Kenshin, the beginning and the final, both of which is my number. Actually, that's my number 3. The number 4 is Shang-Chi.
Nice. All right.
Shang-Chi is basically the Marvel version of Kung Fu Hustle because they do the same thing in the movie that Kung Fu Hustle did, except they go one step slightly further and they do it from a Western point of view. In Kung Fu Hustle, Stephen Chow paid homage to the entire history of Kung Fu cinema and Wushu cinema and Wuxia cinema. And so it was all about the movies. In Shang-Chi, that's why Shang-Chi has a Kung Fu Hustle poster up in his apartment, his garage, is they do that as well, but then they go one step further and they move it into Kung Fu Panda 3 territory, which is this is only the second movie ever made where they tell you this is not a good idea. This is a much better idea. Don't do this. Do this. Don't make a fist. This will hurt you. Do this. You'll be able to. And they also showed for one of the first times ever in an American film how to do Tai Chi properly, how to do it as a good ass or great ass as opposed to badass. Your idea is not to be stronger and badder and meaner and tougher. Your idea is to be smarter and more effective and driven by chi, your inner energy. And as La Kal Young, the maker of 36 Chamber, always said, using soft to make hard. You know, because again, you can do astonishing things. And they do that in Shang-Chi. And they also bring in wuxia, they bring in wushu, they bring in kung fu. And also they pay homage to Jackie Chan, to Chow Yun-fat, to Jet Li. They pay homage to Stephen Chow. And so I recognize where each of the fight on the bus is just Police Story 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yep.
and stuff and a trick that Brad Allen did with Jackie in a movie called Gorgeous, where Brad Allen was on screen. So he uses all the same techniques. So Shang-Chi is great. Then we get Rurouni Kenshin, the double header, the double feature, oh my gosh, it's just incredible in the mouth. I mean, come on. And then number 2 is Swordsman.
Okay.
Swordsman was going to be my number 1 because it was so much heart and so much great. But my number 1, and you don't even have it on your list, and I'm surprised by this.
Okay.
It's my favorite movie of the year without question. It's the best kung fu movie of the year. It is Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. It's amazing with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is the kung fu master in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the first Doctor Strange movie, he does the second highest form of kung fu. Second highest form of kung fu is when if another person insists on trying to hurt themselves by trying to hurt you, you as a kung fu student will help them. And that's exactly what Doctor Strange does in the first Doctor Strange movie. Not only does he spend all his time throughout the movie watching people doing mystical martial arts and saying, and I quote, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Right. And at the end, does the better way. And the line, again, just like Po in the first Kung Fu Panda, when Po says, no, I figured it out, you can see all the Kung Fu masters in the audience going, yay, yay, that's exactly right. That's what we always say. No, I figured it out. But in Doctor Strange, what he says to the villain is, I got you what you wanted. You won't like it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we were saying before, which is give them what they want.
Yep.
If they insist on trying to hurt themselves by trying to hurt you, you'll help. And that's what Doctor Strange did. He helped. You won't like it, but I helped. I gave you what you wanted. That was in the first movie. In this movie, he doesn't do it. That's the most interesting thing. Spider-Man does it.
Right.
Number one rule in Kung Fu is not to fight. And the subtitle of not to fight, number one / don't fight. Underneath that, how do you fight without fighting? You make your enemy your friend. That's how you do it. You make friends. One time, a Kung Fu student asked his teacher, how do I protect myself from an attack from the back? And he said, and the students tried to figure it out. And they couldn't find out a foolproof way to prevent an attack from the back. They used reflection, they used shadows. Still wasn't foolproof. And the teacher says, you make such good friends that they'll never let you be attacked from the back. It's all about making friends. Also in Kung Fu, if you have an enemy, at least half your fault. At least half your fault. So in Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man fights. The only fight he really does, besides trying to take revenge for the death of a loved one and being talked out of it to make friends, was he fought Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange wanted to doom these characters to certain death. And Spider-Man said, no, I'm going to make my enemies my friends. And I went. And again, it's a movie like Shang-Chi, where they show all different kinds of martial arts and Kung Fu. And also, again, so mad at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for not honoring Marvel's incredible achievement with Avengers Endgame, culminating with Avengers Endgame. And in this one, again, they did the same thing. If you see this in a movie theater, just like Avengers Endgame, it teaches you why the movie theater is better than watching it at home. So why the Academy doesn't embrace that and embrace Marvel for teaching whole new younger generations the beauty of going to a movie theater and sitting with a bunch of other people, and they all laugh, cry, and cheer at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't do that at home. And the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, oh, Marvel sucks, superhero movies suck. You assholes, you idiots. They're doing what you want to do, and you're ignoring it.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man No Way Home, how did I feel? As much as I loved Rory Kenshin, as much as I loved The Swordsman, I didn't feel the way I felt when they ended, the way I felt after Spider-Man No Way Home. I was
It's
like,
phenomenal.
oh,
It's phenomenal. I don't feel too bad. I at least had it on my number 2 best of the year list. So
oh, you did. I thought you went through all your best already.
no, my best. I had a best and worst of the year was like a
Oh,
mixture.
for you, yeah, but not
Yeah,
action. This
yeah,
is still the best action movie of the year.
yeah. I got it over there. I'm good.
It's just
Yeah, it's great. Great picks. Wonderful picks, of
want to
course.
do worse now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do worse. Now, my badass movie dojo audience may wonder why some of the movies they know I hated are not on here, and that's because in the action list, I don't even consider them action because I absolutely hated Red Notice. I destroyed it on Saturday. And I don't even consider that's not even worthy to go on the worst action movies list. So if you don't see Shadow in the Cloud here, that's why. But yeah, let's go ahead and
I took Red Notice
absolutely.
off my list. I also took off SAS Red Notice off my
Oh,
list.
you know what's really funny about that?
What?
I saw that movie. I don't even remember it. I don't remember anything about that movie.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's not good.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get into Samurai Guys. I'll go first here. Oh shoot, we got Eric here in the house. He was disappointed with Protege.
Yeah.
Uh
Eric, the only good thing about Protege were the scenes with Michael Keaton.
yeah.
It was just like Paloma in No Time to Die. The fight scene Michael Keaton has
Yeah.
with Matthew Q is the best thing in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. I could have, it's like with the Protege, I was like mildly entertained with him in the movie, but that ending was so stupid. That whole finale, I was like, "Well, you lost me there." All right. This is like, "Oh, you screwed it up." All right, first up, now you know me, Rick. I give everything a chance, you know? Small, low budget, no budget, micro budget movies, big budget movies. I'll give them both a shot because as long
La-
as they're
Last
entertaining,
man down. Last man down.
like, there you go. As long as they're entertaining, that's all I care about, right? So I gave this movie a shot. The trailer looked interesting. Every last one of them. Now, doesn't this sound like a movie Samurai Guy would love? Every last one of them will die. Like this is right up Samurai Guy's alley here. You got Richard Dreyfuss being, he's in this movie wishing he was back, in Jaws. But but yeah, I gave this a shot and I was on board. And then I was like, okay, it's inspired. It's either inspired by First Blood or they're homaging First Blood. I couldn't figure it out, but it was definitely had a
Ripping
First
off
Blood
First
vibe.
Blood.
It was a First Blood vibe to me, and so I was just kind of like, all right, fine. That's fine. I'll watch it. I don't mind it. I love First Blood. Let's see if they can still entertain me in that way. And as soon as it got started, he's looking for his daughter. His daughter went into town, disappeared. He comes across the local authorities. They torture him just like First Blood. He breaks away just like First Blood, and the hunt begins. But the difference between this and First Blood, yes, this has a bigger body count than First Blood. But the difference is, as soon as the hunt and the chase begins, that's what's exciting about First Blood. As soon as the hunt and chase begins, the movie decides to, no, the action's getting good here. He's taking out dudes here and there, and I'm like all on board. It's violent. I'm all on board. And then the movie's like, no, hold on. We're gonna just fuck all the excitement, and we're gonna just, hey, let's do the whole past backstory on how the father got with the daughter, and they have relationship issues, and she's a druggie, and then let's go visit Michael Madsen in the garage. He used to be a druggie, and he's trying to get her off of drugs. It completely derailed the movie. All this back and forth.
They ran out of money for the action scenes. They ran out of money.
Maybe it could.
Oh, yeah,
You're
that's the only
probably right.
excuse. That's the only excuse.
Yeah. And so I'm like praying to God, at least the finale's badass. And does he kill every last one of them? No. He almost does.
You know who the them refers to?
Who?
The audience.
But yeah, I was disappointed. I was just like, come on, man. Even the finale action wasn't that good. And I don't have an issue with the lead guy. I'm sure he's great. It's just you lost me, man. I was on board and you just completely lost me. And it didn't make any sense. They bring in Richard Dreyfuss as the bootleg Colonel Troutman character. They bring him in, and it didn't make any sense. He's got his whole team to help stop bootleg John Rambo, and none of the team are listening to him. He's like, stop shooting at him. He says that constantly, and they just shooting at bootleg John Rambo. I'm like, why are you here? Fake diet Colonel Troutman? Like, why are you here? So it's just
you're giving it way too much time.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Yeah, that sucked. Next up, just recently watched this. Jolt. Jolt has to go on here. And the reason why I put Jolt on here is because, believe it or not, I was enjoying Jolt. The first like 20, 30 minutes, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, this is hilarious. The character having this issue, and it's like, I think we all wish we had a little a little buzzer to shock us, to keep us in place. I wish we kind of had that before we would kill somebody for being an asshole. But
doesn't work for me.
I know.
I just keep going.
Just keep going. But yeah, I was on board, man. I was laughing. I was like, this is hilarious. I got to show my wife this. Like, this is really funny. And then when it got to the action, it was so just generic, bland, boring. Like, I was just like, and this is one of those movies where you can tell the soundtrack's trying to save it. The soundtrack's very loud and fast, trying to make sure the audience doesn't go to sleep. But when you're watching stuff on screen, the car chase is slow. Like, she's throwing babies at one of the cops. because the cops got the gun on her. She's throwing babies at it. She's catching the
I don't.
baby.
I didn't mind that scene. I thought that scene was, like hard boiled. I thought that was cute.
I guess, but I was running out of patience. And when I saw the trailer when I did the trailer reaction for the movie way back, I noticed there was a fight scene in the trailer where she's fighting multiple guys, and
Yeah.
something didn't look right. And I called it in the trailer, and I was correct. We finally get a martial arts hand-to-hand fight scene, like that's supposed to be a big deal in the finale, and you can tell that it was just the stunt double the entire fight. Not once in the fight did they ever show the front or the side of the of the female's face.
No.
So was Kate sick that day? Like,
No,
what happened?
she didn't want to be damaged. And again, they didn't have a lot of money for this movie. It's basically all on one big set.
But it was so bad. I was just like, and then the camera work for that fight sucked. So I was like losing patience. I was like so done. And then at the very end, poor Susan Sarandon. Why you gotta torture Susan Sarandon in this horrible mess? So they bring her in at the very end of the movie for some sequel bait. So fuck off, Jolt. Jolt can go fuck itself. All right,
There you go.
next up, Rick. I'm curious what you might think about this movie, or what, or okay, here, let me get into it. All right, so next up, Salat
Oh, yeah.
Warriors, Deed of Death. Now, can you watch this? Is some of the action okay? Yeah, it's all
Here,
right. Go ahead,
again,
Rick.
the only good scene is the woman. The
She's
woman
like the
beating
best
the
character in
crap
the
out
whole
of
movie.
everybody who comes into her house.
Yeah.
I said the movie should have been about her.
Yes.
That scene is awesome. That's her Paloma scene. The rest of it was like No Time to Die. It was
Yeah.
like, didn't work.
Yeah. It's like some of the fighting's fine, but it was just like, why? So the one brother goes to rescue the asshole brother that caused all this mess. Why didn't she go with him? That would have
That's
been cool.
because, again, I was amazed they gave her that one scene at the beginning where she kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah.
But it's again paternal. They're feeding the audience what they think the audience wants. But man, a movie about her would have been much better.
That it would have, because I hated this guy. I hated this character so bad. I was like, dude, stop fucking posing. Like, stop posing. Every time he did like 4 martial arts moves, he posed every single time. I'm like, no, movie. This guy, he's an asshole. He caused all these problems for his family. We're not supposed to like this guy. Stop forcing us to like unlikable characters. Yeah.
It's
So
a story of redemption. It's a story of redemption.
No, you're giving it too much credit, Rick. All right.
No,
So
I'm not
again,
saying it is. I'm quoting the producer
oh God.
because
Okay.
producers always project themselves onto
Oh,
their characters.
yeah, but I was frustrated. I was really frustrated.
Yes,
And the family was frustrating me too, because they're like, look, your brother owes us money. Where's the
that's
money?
right.
And then even the family's like, well, what if our brother doesn't want to give you the money? What are you gonna do about it? I'm like, look, don't make us root for the villains. So
Send the sister over to kick their asses.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're correct. That should have been the movie. So let's keep it going with very unlikable characters.
yeah.
Outside the Wire. Oh my God. I ranted about this on Saturday. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how good your action sequences are, special effects. It doesn't matter if the lead in your movie is fucking atrocious and he's entitled, cocky, arrogant, does not give two shits about accidentally killing people or accidentally sending innocent people to their death. This is who we're supposed to root for. And the movie sets up this character as if he's the savior of mankind. Get the fuck out of here, Outside the Wire. All right, next up. Y'all know it's got to go on here. Here we go. All right. Kujaku Resurrections. Kujaku Resurrections needs to go on. Rick, you look confused.
I don't even know that movie. I've never even heard of that.
That's Matrix, Rick.
That's what you said. Oh, okay. That movie I know. That's on my list too. Yeah.
Yeah, Matrix Resurrections. No, I'm so glad I have you here, Rick.
Yeah.
I've already ranted enough of well, you guys know I don't like the Matrix. Resurrections. You guys know I ranted too much about it already. But I have to tell Rick this, because this is a new thing that's going around now. People are saying that Matrix Resurrections is actually genius.
Yep.
People don't think it's genius. It's actually genius because the movie shits on the movie studio and how they work behind the scenes. At the same time, making fun of them, but also making fun of the audience that wants the same thing over and over again. So people are praising the story. My issue, more than the story with this movie, was the action was so nothing. It was nothing.
It's worse than nothing. It was
Yeah.
worse than
Yeah, worse than nothing. And I'm like, look, I've lost. I don't care about how good your story is and how, meta it is. I don't give a shit. You lost me, man. When you got everybody fighting in the fucking dark with a little sliver of light coming through, you lost me. I just
Well,
don't care.
I say the same thing about this movie that I said about Alien 3, and actually every Alien movie since Alien 3, which
Uh-huh.
was it's the Alien movie for people who hate Alien movies. Matrix Resurrections is the Matrix movie for people who hate Matrix movies. That's why
I
other people are going,
oh.
"Oh, it's genius."
Okay.
It's not a
Okay.
good-
Okay.
I thought Ghostbusters Afterlife did a better job mining nostalgia.
Okay.
This one is toxic.
Gotcha.
Matrix Resurrections, it's self-hating, it's
Right.
self-loathing,
Right.
and it's also boring, and the action is terrible,
It's
especially in
I was
comparison to
stunned.
the first one.
I was stunned how
But then
bad
again,
the
I
act.
saw the sequels. I saw Matrix 2 and 3, and I didn't think those were good either. So it's the same thing I felt about, Rise of Skywalker. I saw
Right.
the prequels, so I didn't
Right.
have a lot of hope for the new ones, and I didn't have
Gotcha.
a lot of hope for this one. But it
Gotcha.
was fun to see it from a self-loathing standpoint.
Right.
It was
All right.
interesting. It wasn't good, but it was interesting.
Gotcha. Gotcha. More fascinating than good, right?
Exactly.
I said this over the weekend. Just because there's a popular meme out there that everyone keeps posting and sending and sharing and laughing about doesn't necessarily mean you actually want to see it happen in your favorite franchise, Fast Nine,
Yep.
the movie that jumped the shark, the movie that even Fast and Furious fanboys are like, what the fuck is this? What
Not
is
only
this?
not only did it jump the shark, but then it had a scene about talking about how it jumped the shark. That was one of my favorite things in this movie. Whenever they did something just absurd,
Right.
Common would go, "What the hell's going on here? Why aren't we dead?" Like, hey,
Tyrese, yeah.
self-aware. Tyrese, excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. But it was just like I'm used to all these movies and the style that they have, but it's just like I don't know now, man. Like
This is a bridge too far. This is a
yeah.
bridge too far.
But what's annoying me the most is just let the Brian character go. Let Paul Walker rest in peace. Stop. Stop it. I mean, do
Oh,
you buy that the character of Brian stayed home to watch the kids while his
well,
wife
as
went out
much
there
as
to
I
risk
buy
her life?
as much as I buy anything else in the movie. I mean, I don't mind that they keep him alive, and I don't mind, but it's all you need to know about Vin Diesel is watching him now
Yeah,
trying to supposedly get The Rock back into F10. And if you see his
failed.
his what is it?
The Rock responded already. He's like, "Nope."
Yeah, I know, but he's still what is it? Passive aggressive.
Yeah, yeah,
Vin is so passive aggressive, and this movie is just like, and the more just like Daniel Craig in No Time to Die,
yeah.
it's you can see the character of the filmmaker. The more power the actors get, the more the movie reflects their personalities.
Gotcha.
And this is
Gotcha.
Vin Diesel unleashed.
Yeah.
My favorite line that he keeps saying when he answers every question was, "Nothing's off the table. Are you going to do this in the next one? Nothing's off the table." Yeah, well, I think it would be a great idea if you would take some things off the table. That would be a good idea. So yeah,
Exactly.
F9
You,
was just like kind of an insulting.
you know what would have been hilarious
What?
if they actually did go to space and then they died.
Yeah,
If the car just blew up and didn't make it,
yeah,
that'd
but
be
hey,
brilliant.
by that time it was far too. I mean, when they did that whole thing at the beginning with Vin and the girl in the
Michelle
car
Rodriguez. Yeah.
going across the valley on the wire,
Yeah.
being thrown onto the cliff, rolling over and over and over again, and they literally have a shot of them
Yeah.
in the car. Every single window is black. All the glass is shattered and gone. The car is beaten to a pulp.
Yeah.
And those two characters are sitting in the front seats, no airbags, no seatbelts, without a bruise.
Yeah.
And at that point, I went, this has nothing to do with reality anymore. These people can't be killed.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
We're
what happens.
superheroes now.
Vin
Diesel has incredible Hulk strength now, just pulling down concrete.
More than that, even the Hulk shows more pain than that. And what I often say, and I've been used this a bunch of these bad movies, when anything is possible, nothing is interesting.
I like that.
It's true.
That's interesting. Chase says right here, "Hey, Fat Samurai Guy, I just got done watching The Djinn. I hated it. Yeah, that was on my one. That was one of my worst of the year.
The non-action ones,
and yeah, it's horror, but it's just terrible. And the ratings for both critics and audience is really high. It's baffling. So
I'll have to take a look. I love Malignant. Malignant almost got, because of that one fight scene. Malignant was almost on my list of best.
So the fight scene. So because we were talking about that some the fight scene that made them love the movie, and some the fight scene broke them.
Yeah, but that's the kind of movie. I mean, if you subscribe to Malignant, if you buy into Malignant, if you in James Wan I trust. So it's kind of like, I know he's doing something. He never not does something. He's doing something. And then when it hit and reminded me of Basket Case and the other ones, I sort of went, he's so cool. And then he kept going forward with it. And of course, I love the ending where, again, she gets smart. She just, I mean, in all my horror novels, I hate it when the girl, and the horror movies, when the girl just keeps screaming, and then gets slaughtered. I like it when the girl finally goes, okay, I'm done screaming. I'm gonna fight back, and I'm gonna fight back not like a guy, not like my attacker. I'm gonna fight back like a smart woman.
So you guys,
does that. And it's
you guys hearing this, right?
Huh?
Rick Meyers enjoyed Malignant.
I love Malignant.
So there you go. There you go. All of you out there that love Malignant, you can now put that on your box, on your CV. Rick Meyers. Oh God.
I love it.
I'm happy you enjoyed it, Rick.
I did.
All right, let's keep going.
Yes.
Dynasty Warriors.
There we go. Gold-plated poo.
Gold-plated poo. That is hilarious. Gold-plated poo. That's really funny. Now, this is I wanted big dumb fun. I was like, give me the big dumb fun. Let's do it all the way through. Let's go. Horses riding on waves. Give me the big dumb fun. And when me and my buddy watched this, we're like, dude, where's the big dumb fun? Like when there was barely any action in it, and then the movie just ended. And I had tons of drama and forced romance in the middle. Like, what happened?
It wasn't fun. Well, it's Chinese. It's Chinese, which is, I mean, my feeling is they're actively trying to denigrate and eliminate Kung Fu. And this is based on a video game. And again, you have to walk the line of the Chinese Film Agency, the Chinese Film Bureau. And so at this point, they make gold-plated poo. I mean, the costumes are great. The scenery is great.
Yeah.
The cast is huge.
Right.
That's what the Chinese do. But there can't be an idea that the Chinese Film Bureau can hold on to. You can't have an idea because they'll say that's subversive.
Right.
So this is what we're left with.
Well, I wanted some big dumb fun, God damn it. And it didn't deliver on that.
Big, dumb, not fun.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yep.
Next up, not like it's a horrible movie. Cinematography is great. It definitely does have its moments. There's some solid action at the end.
Yeah.
But with such a crazy premise, Prisoners of the Ghostland was disappointing. It was disappointing.
Not as disappointing as my equivalent. I have a movie that's equivalent to that one, which I'll bring up on my list.
Okay. Okay.
I thought of that movie that I'm going to put up on my list when I saw Prisoners of the Ghostland. I went, yep, similar, very similar.
Okay. Was it Yakuza Apocalypse?
In it too. That's the same actor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Copy that. All right. Next up, you guys know it's got to go here.
I
Mortal
love your
Kombat. It's
yep,
it's gotta go here. Come on,
yep,
guys.
it's gotta go.
And you know what's sad about Mortal Kombat?
I know a lot of things
It was
are
the
sad,
it's the most viewed movie on HBO Max. Out of all the movies that's on HBO Max, Mortal Kombat was the most watched movie the whole year. It's kinda sad.
it is and it isn't. It tells you that a good video game movie will have an audience, but again, because it's HBO Max, because it's the studio doesn't care about its characters, it doesn't care about its fans. And they
Yeah,
just make a piece of shit that's good enough for garbage because they know people will watch it. That's the kind of produce. That's why Marvel is so superior with Filoni, Favreau, and Feige, because
right.
they care about the characters, they care about their audience, and they care about themselves.
And there's
They're fans
planning.
of this. The people who made Mortal Kombat were not fans of Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
and they weren't, and they think less of the audience. Oh, you like this shit? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll give you shit. This is only good. This is good enough for garbage. That's the attitude. It
I
makes me
love
mad.
I
That
love the
makes me mad.
beginning, and I kinda like the ending when we actually had Mortal Kombat, but that whole middle, man, I was like, "Dude, this
Yeah,
is
you
terrible."
could tell. You could tell there wasn't Mortal Kombat because they didn't even do the tournament.
Right, it
Set
was
up for the tournament with a
pre-tournament.
character who was meaningless and stupid and pointless. And why
Oh,
don't they use more
preach.
characters from the video game?
Preach it.
Just
Woo.
do the just do the fucking video game.
Yeah. Woo, preach it. All right. So, just for fun, because you guys know I've completely destroyed Severio that I see you in the chat right there. You're gonna enjoy this, my friend. You're gonna enjoy this. So I have beaten this movie to a bloody pulp. I've ranted so much about this film, especially on Saturday. I was like sweating. I was like going nuts. All right. I probably look like a madman to everybody watching. I hope you guys were entertained by that. But yeah, I've beaten it to a bloody pulp. There's no. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of talking about this movie. I can't wait to hear what Rick has to say. But believe it or not, I'm gonna flip the script. It's not my number one. It's my number one worst movie of the year on my other list. But in this list, I'm tired of talking about it. Severio, it's not number one. It's number two. I found something just recently that's worse than this for me. Snake Eyes is my number two here.
Yep.
I know Severio's happy. He's like, yay. Because he enjoyed the film. And I'm happy for him. But yeah, I'm done talking about this piece of shit. I'm stunned, just completely. I was in the theater, Rick. Like
Yeah, I know.
I couldn't believe.
I know.
I was like, who destroyed this movie?
Matter of fact, we can find out who destroyed this movie because if you, as you well know,
Yeah,
this movie had the same choreographer
right.
as Rurouni Kenshin
Yep,
and as Swordsman.
yep,
It was it was Kenji Tanigaki.
yeah.
So you got to ask yourself. You can watch The Swordsman, which I strongly recommend you do.
Hmm.
You can watch Rurouni Kenshin, the final in the beginning, which I strongly recommend you do.
Yes.
And then you watch
Then
Snake
go
Eyes.
watch Snake Eyes. Yeah.
What here's this is this is for people who want to be filmmakers. This is an incredible lesson of what editing
Yes.
can do to a movie.
Hmm.
Watch the fight scenes in Snake Eyes. Notice how well they are conceived and how horribly they are edited. And if you know anything about filmmaking, you'll notice that they constantly cut away from the climax of any action. In other words,
Hmm.
if I'm going to punch Fat Samurai, I would be cut there. The Snake Eye guys would have cut me there. They would not have allowed my punch to reach Fat Samurai. And at the end of Snake Eyes, where they have like 3 or 4 fights going concurrently in 4 different places,
Right.
every single action shot is cut. Every single one just before it culminates. Now, what's fascinating about that, if you study, again, you're trying to make a good movie, trying to make a good movie, a good action movie, a good drama, a good comedy, a good anything. You want setup, you want payoff. if you do setup with no payoff, Alfred Hitchcock said this. Once you set something up, you are duty bound to pay it off, to release and relieve your audience. I've made a study of this because I studied cinema. I've written books about it. I've made some stuff. I've written screenplays, shit like that. And it's always about you can be disemboweled in the editing room with a producer who wants to hurt it. One time when I was at Comic-Con in my 24 years of doing the Comic-Con extravaganza at San Diego, one of the choreographers from a previous installment in the G.I. Joe series came up to me and said, we did this amazing fight scene with these two female characters, and we get to the premiere and they completely cut it. I mean, the fight scene's still in it, but they cut away all the climactic moments. Apparently, one of the producers, and I'm guessing it's the one whose last name starts with D, seems to think that that's the best way to edit fight scenes. All his fight scenes have to be edited, so there's no payoff in any, even for single moments, not even, let alone ideas, just even a punch.
Mm-hmm.
And watching Snake Eyes, which could have been one of the best movies of the year,
Yeah,
as designed by Kenji Tanigaki,
yes,
this literally and figuratively disemboweled in the editing room, and I'm sure it's not the editor's fault. Because an editor wants to do a more than that. He does what the director and the producer tells him to do.
Okay. You're probably right. Knowing you, you're right.
Oh, I'm sure I'm right. Because I've had
I always, yeah. And I always show this. I always show the behind the scenes of them training here.
Hey!
That's Tanigaki. That's Tanigaki's work.
And you can see everything.
Go watch the actual scene.
Yes.
What happens.
And I said that on Saturday. I said there's fight scenes in the movie where it looks like they're literally surrounded by hundreds of men, hundreds of dudes, but everything's chopped up so bad you feel like they only fought 10 and then they went to the next scene. I was like, wait a minute. They were surrounded by hundreds of guys. Iko Uwais wasted.
Right. You watch, oh my God, what a waste. Yeah. Watch Swordsman, watch Rurouni Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was watching those movies, I found at times I was holding my breath. And when a sword would strike, I'd go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And this is how I was watching Snake Eyes. Felt nothing.
I was stunned. Oh, I forgot to play this. Yeah, I forgot to play this for you. This is the stunt double for Morpheus. I forgot to play this for you. Watch this. And they're just goofing around, going through the motions, and there was nothing like that in Matrix Resurrections.
Nope. And also, you already know, Too Many Fists, the character, everybody fights exactly the same. That's still what I call, that's not quite empty movement, but that's close to empty movement. But it's certainly better than anything that's in Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah. Before we move on, John, thanks for the super chat. The fight scenes in Cobra Kai are better than the ones in Snake Eyes. They are. How sad is that, guys? That's so bad. I was watching Cobra Kai over here. My wife was in and out, and she said that. She's like, she asked me. So she's watching one of the fights. Yeah. And she was like, was this better than Snake Eyes? I was like, yeah. And I was like, she was like, ouch.
Remember what Bruce Lee said. Everything comes back to Bruce Lee. First, the main rule, learn everything you can from everyone you can, then make it your own. Okay. But remember what he said, the scene that he wrote and directed in Enter the Dragon. Emotional content. Cobra Kai has that in spades.
Yep.
That show is about people hurting themselves while trying to hurt others. And as such, awesome show.
All right. I'm going to go to my number one. And by all rights, Snake Eyes should be my number one, but I'm tired of beating it up. I'm gonna pick something else.
Let me see
Oh
what you got.
man, this is fucking garbage, you guys. I'm awake now. I wasn't gonna rant, but fuck this movie. Fuck this movie.
No, it might
I am the
reproduce.
guy.
Don't fuck it. Don't fuck it. It might reproduce.
I am the guy who likes mindless action. As long as it's fun, I'm there. I don't care. But all right, Crazy Fist. Fuck this movie. Oh my god.
That was
Wow.
number one on my worst list too. That was number one on my worst.
Wow, Rick. It has been so long since I've seen a martial arts movie this bad. I couldn't believe it.
That's the tragedy. That's the tragedy of this. Think about what Hong Kong cinema used to be. Think about Crazy Fist.
Oh my God. When the opening action sequence, I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing at your opening action sequence. And I love how it goes Crazy Fist, a champion's final fight. No, none of that in this. The movie wants you to think it's a tournament movie, but it's not.
Nope.
It's not a tournament movie. Look at this shot right here. I'm Samurai Guy's excited. I'm like, yeah, woo, we're going to see some fighting. This is going to be amazing. No, fuck this movie so bad. I love how they advertise bodybuilder Kai Green as the main villain in the trailer and on the box art. And he's in the beginning of the movie and just jobs out really quickly because he probably can't really do martial arts. I'm not sure. But I mean, I couldn't believe how dumb. You had a scene where the girlfriend comes in and asks for where this guy is, the original champion on the right. Yeah. She comes in, where's this guy? And the other girl goes, hey, he's outside. So she goes outside and out of nowhere, some thugs jump the champion. He beats them up. And after he beats them up, he walks up to his girlfriend. They start talking, and then the scene ends. It goes somewhere else, and I'm like, "Who is the girl? Who is that guy? Why did he get jumped? And why are we now cutting to someone going on a date?" And this was like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and there's tons of shit like this. Like, what is happening? This movie's so bad. And then, Rick, why was Colin Chow in this? Oh
Again,
my.
Bruce Leong was in this.
Yes.
Zhao Wei was in this.
Yes.
I will explain it when we get to my number one, which is also this.
Okay. I'm glad you're here because I'm just like, Zhao Wei comes in. I'm like, what is going on? She's in this?
I'll tell you exactly what's going on.
And that scene sucked. It was boring. And then the movie went from this being called Crazy Fist, a tournament movie. It said, no, fuck your tournament movie. We're going to go into this cop thriller guy undercover plot and the corruption of the police and the government. I'm like, dude, what? Can we get to the fights? And then when we finally get to the fights, they suck. And this guy right here, this guy on the left, he's a built dude. You know, he's got the muscoils, right? But I mean, I really couldn't tell if he was really talented or not. Like, I was like, can he do a roundhouse kick? It was kind of hard to tell because the fight scene sucked. And the end fight, I was like, okay, so this guy comes out of nowhere. Oh my God. I should have got a clip, Rick. I blew it. But
I'll tell you. That clip.
I know. I'm fired. I should have got that clip. But you guys can, look it up. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. So the guy on the right, the champion, he has a fight with Colin Chow. Colin Chow is completely wasted in this fight. This fight sucks. And so, again, this arena here is surrounded by water with crocodiles.
I cannot believe you didn't have that shot.
I know. I'm sorry. Crocodiles on the outside. And earlier, we have a scene. Okay, they set it up. Earlier, we have our champion come through there, and he sees an old little baby crocodile on the side. One more time. Crazy Fist. You see a little baby crocodile, and he picks up the little baby crocodile, and he goes boogly 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 boogly, and then he takes it over to the water and throws it in the water to the mama crocodile. So the mama crocodile and him, they lock eyes and fall in love. And then later in the movie, they have the horrible fight between him and Colin Chow. Colin Chow kicks him in the water, and then he's looking for him, and then the crocodile Free Willy style launches our hero. I'm not making this up, you guys. He launches our hero like this in the air, shoots him in the air, and he comes down like this, and Superman punches Colin and knocks him out. Fuck this movie. This is the horrible, Rick. Like I'm lost for words.
I know.
I should have did this when I was angry after I got done watching the movie.
You should have stopped being angry and gotten that shot of that fake-looking
I know.
doing a ridiculous CGI move at the end. Let me go through my list, and then we'll get to Crazy Fist, and I'll explain it all.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
Number 10 on my list is F9.
Okay.
Number 9 on my list is No. Right.
Okay.
Number 8 on my list is Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder Unleashed. Just, shredding our eyes with his many different ways of doing slow motion and filming faces.
Yeah.
Number 7 was Matrix Resurrection. Number 6 was Mortal Kombat. Number 5 was Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, specifically the last 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because the last 20 minutes was Zack's, that was what he did, or that was wholly new for his cut.
Right.
And that was Zack Snyder undiluted, which was misery and anger and darkness and negativity and bad stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was number 5, right? Zack Snyder. Number 4, where's my number 4? Oh, there it is. Snake Eyes.
Still mad.
Yeah, and where you should. Now, number 3 is my version of Prisoners of the Ghostland. Now, folks who are watching, everybody who's watching, go to Well Go USA and take the. I think they still have you can get a 1 month free, or you can go to Amazon Prime and get their Hi-Ya streaming service, because Hi-Ya streaming service has the exclusives of Hydra, Deed of Death, Swordsman, and Raging Fire. You can watch all those and many more on Hi-Ya streaming service.
Deliver Us from Evil was fantastic.
And also they have Undercover Punch and Gun, and Undercover Punch and Gun is a good example of what Hi-Ya does, because Hi-Ya gets these Chinese movies with these ornate Chinese names, and they give them an American title like Crazy Fist, because Crazy Fist is also on the Hi-Ya streaming service exclusively. And so they had another, and I love the fact that they called it Undercover Punch and Gun, because they're like, what are we going to call this Chinese movie? Well, they're undercover operatives who shoot and punch, so we'll call it Undercover Punch and Gun. And we get Crazy Fist, and this is an insane movie. What are we going to call it? We'll call it Crazy Fist. And so they had another movie called Crazy Samurai Musashi's 400 versus 1. Right. Which stars Tak, who also was a co-star and the action star of Prisoners of the Ghostland. Yeah. And Crazy Samurai is like One Shot. Right. The Scott Adkins movies, except not with as much money or as much time. So Crazy Samurai Musashi has a fight scene that lasts 70 minutes long, a samurai sword fight scene that lasts 70 minutes long. And in order to do the 70-minute one-shot fight scene, it necessitated them not to do very ornate swordplay, because if they do ornate swordplay, somebody will screw it up and somebody will get hurt. Mm-hmm. So there's many times during this 70-minute, let me repeat that, 1 hour and 10-minute fight scene where the villains, and there are 400 of them, just line up and run at the hero. And the hero just runs down them like they're a loaf of bread and goes do 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 do. And they go dum 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 dum. And I defy anybody to get 15 to 20 minutes into this 70-minute fight scene and not start going, oh, what's going? I think I'll play a video game while I'm watching this. And what's hilarious is at the very end of the movie, they have like a 4-minute fight scene with editing. That's awesome. That's an awesome fight scene at the very end. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the best fight. And also the credits where they showed you backstage, it's far more interesting than the movie itself, showing you behind the scenes during the end credits in the last fight scene. But basically, the last fight. I recently saw a really cool on Netflix. They had a Indian action movie called Soor Bianchi, I think it was. And it's just look up SOOR, you'll find it.
Okay.
They have three musical numbers. It's a pretty cool movie. It's a part of a series that they're doing in India. And at the end of this movie, they have the single best musical number during the end credits. The whole cast, all the extras, they're all singing this song about we're doing whatever we want, fuck you.
Right.
They actually have that as the lyrics.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah. And so basically, that's what Crazy Samurai Musashi was at the end. They just sort of look at the audience and go, we could have done this the whole time. Fuck you. So that was my number 3.
Okay.
And number 2 was Gold Plated Pooh, Dynasty Warriors. And my number 1 worst movie of the year, worst action movie of the year, and worst movie of the year is Crazy Fist.
Oh,
Crazy Fist makes me very, very, very sad. Because this is what China wants. China wants Crazy Fist.
Yeah.
Is a vanity project. The star of it, the old guy who's fighting the African gentleman in that poster. Yeah, the guy on the right there. He's the writer, the director, the star. He's probably the choreographer. He's probably the makeup guy. He probably supplied the food. He is the guy he's playing in the movie. He's a rich businessman.
Wow.
And in China,
this was a vanity project then.
Yes, when China, rich businessmen don't create rocket ships that are shaped like penises and go off into space. They make these movies. The Alibaba guy, the head of Alibaba, the big Chinese company, he made a short subject and he hired Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Jackie Chan. He hired everybody in that one, and that was a short subject. I
didn't even bother watching that because I was angry.
It was really interesting. Well, this is another vanity project.
Yeah.
He got Vicky Zhao Wei, who now has been censored by the Chinese government. He got Bruce Leong to do a dialogue sequence, 2 dialogue sequences, and he got Colin Chow to just stand there and look mad.
Right.
And basically, this movie is not only astonishing it's not just terrible action. The whole movie is terrible because outside of Vicky and Bruce and Colin, nobody in this movie can act. Nobody in this movie can hardly even speak. All the female characters, except for Vicky Zhao Wei, it's painful to listen to them talk. It's also painful to hear them, to hear what they're saying. There's 2 women in it. There's the girlfriend and there's the villainess.
Right.
They are terrible and all. Everybody's terrible and awful. They have nothing to say. They don't know how to say it. This movie is technically proficient because the guy's rich, but it is emotionally and intellectually handicapped. I would have used a word that they don't use anymore about the mentally handicapped.
Right.
This movie is, but he got to make this. Wu Jing didn't get to make Wolf Warrior 3.
Oh, that's a crime.
That was killed. Dante Lam wasn't able to make another Mission Operation movie because the Chinese government said no. This guy got to make Crazy Fist. This got released. So that's why I'm saying, I don't care if you say Raging Fire was boring and point. You've got to embrace Raging Fire because this is the last of its kind. Because if China has its way, it's all going to be Crazy Fist from now on. So, here I am, the writer of 4 books, the documentary, the book on Kung Fu films, the consultant for Kung Fu Panda, both the original TV show and the original movie, who agrees with Poe. I love Kung Fu. And this is what it's coming to.
Yeah.
My heart, she is broken.
Oh, man.
Worst film of Good year.
It's atrocious. I was stunned how bad. And then, and like you said, even when they try to, oh, let's bring in drama and emotional content, they fail. You remember that scene in the club where
Oh,
they forced the girl to dance? That
yeah.
was so bad.
Well, this guy's making it
She was
up.
fully clothed. It's not like they made her take her clothes off or they were forced, like she was fully clothed, dancing in the club for them. The bad guys are making her do it.
Yeah.
And the worst, probably maybe the most unsexiest dance ever. And then she starts crying as if it's like oh, I'm humiliated. It's like they didn't even do anything. You're fully dressed dancing.
You know where they
And
got
then,
that.
oh, it's such a horrible scene. And then the villains, the gangsters are like, oh, we've gone too far.
Yeah, but you know where
I'm
they
like,
got
oh
that.
my God.
But you know where they got that scene.
Where?
That was Birds of Prey.
Oh,
The Birds of Prey scene where the villain, what's his name,
okay.
makes that woman fully dressed get up on the table and dance.
Oh, all
That
right.
was terrible in that movie too. That's where they got it. This guy was making it up as he went along.
Oh, so bad.
And you got people who couldn't improvise improvising
Yeah.
and
And
they can't English either.
and the guy on the left here, the undercover
Yeah,
guy, he's undercover, the fighter,
yeah,
the officer like immediately forced comedy.
yeah,
Like the officer who's like helping him with his case. So I'm like,
yeah,
what is happening, man?
yeah.
But yeah,
And the
it's
meanwhile, the Chinese government is going, keep up the good work.
yeah, it's atrocious. It's whew, man.
It's astonishing to watch. Now that you know these guys, if you go on Haya and you want to watch Crazy Samurai, you want to watch Swordsman, you want to watch Raging Fire, and all these other
Yeah.
good movies, take a look at Crazy Fist. You'll never forget it.
Or at least skip to the end. We see the goddamn crocodile launching the
Oh
guy
my
in the
God.
air.
Next time we do a versus, man,
Yeah,
just get me that
I'll
clip.
find it.
So
I'll
just
find it.
just do that
I'll
clip.
leave it in here. I'll leave it in here so
Yeah,
we can
there you
always
go.
click on it.
So really,
hold on.
it was a very good year. It was a good year.
Yeah, there was some great stuff for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We got MK here. MK, certified badass channel member. He said the Scorpion versus Sub-Zero fight is as good as any other film, high level martial artists. I don't think anyone can hate the fighting in Mortal Kombat.
Not hate it,
Well,
but not like it as much as it should have because it's truncated.
right.
It is not set up well, and it's not paid off well. And the
Yeah,
crowd,
and our complaints, MK, weren't the opening and the ending fights.
yeah,
It's everything in the middle
yeah,
is the problem with that movie.
it
So,
doesn't culminate into everything. It's just,
yeah.
yeah, but
But
yeah, it's
we're
good.
happy that you enjoyed it, my friend. As long
And
as you
again,
enjoyed it, that's all that
it's
matters.
yeah, it's good
Even
people.
if you enjoyed Crazy Fists, as long as you enjoyed it, that's all that matters. But fuck that movie. Yeah, seriously.
Again, don't fuck it. It can reproduce if you. I have to keep on explaining these simple things. You guys want to be badasses, and I'm going good asses. Be great ass.
Great asses. Oh shit, we got
Yeah.
director Matt Moret here. What's going on, man? He says Keep Forward Productions. I recommended Extreme to him. He loved it. So cool.
Good.
I'm
And
glad you
also
enjoyed
now
Extreme.
look at the Lost Bullet. Check out the Lost Bullet.
Yes, I might watch that this week for sure.
Yeah.
Great picks from Kung Fu Santa himself. Great picks. Was there anything else before we wrap it up today? This was fun.
It was a good year. I'm looking this next year. I mean, I've just been blessed. I've waited all my life to be in a viewing situation that I'm in today with the stuff, all the streaming, all the movies, that everything they're honoring these great universes and imagination and great comedy, great animation, great drama. I mean, there's if you can't find something good to watch, you're not trying hard.
Or you're trying too hard and you come across Crazy Fist. But it happens. If you review movies like us, we're gonna come across it. Unfortunately, it's unavoidable. Oh, but Rick, brother Rick, this was fun.
As
You
always,
guys, yes, as always. Everyone's been asking about verses. Where's verses? Verses this week, probably not going to happen. Next week we'll see. Most likely it's not going to happen because Samurai's got some other things I got to tidy up And but it will return. We will get verses back up here return for sure. But you guys know what you need to do. Subscribe the Old Samurai Guy if you haven't already. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching and liking and sharing the video. Keep watching movies, man. That's right. Represent the action genre, baby. That's right. The Western, the Kung Fu, the
And don't accept
Samurai.
crap. Don't accept crap because
Yes,
there's great stuff out there if you look for it.
that's right. Don't accept Crazy Fist.
Embrace
Burn
it.
Burn it to the ground.
Choke it. Get it in a
Choke it.
stranglehold.
Choke
Don't
slam
fuck it.
Yeah.
Kill it.
Yeah,
Don't
kill
fuck
it. Kill it with fire.
Don't
But
marry
yeah,
it. Don't fuck it. Kill it.
don't forget to follow Rick as well. His information's in the description box below of this video. And we'll see you badasses. I forgot. Segue. We're keeping it action in martial arts tomorrow, guys. If you guys are awake tomorrow early at 11 a.m., Samurai Guy is going to be hanging out with martial artist, stuntman, actor, and director Michael Hode, all the way from the UK. Is going to be hanging out with us tomorrow at 11 a.m. So make sure you guys stop by and say hi. And again, like I said before, keep watching action movies, represent the genre. That's right. And we'll see you badasses next time. Take care.